Welcome back, collectors. This is Packing the Gathering, and I am on video 12 in my series to open up a complete pack fresh 4th edition. We're halfway through the booster box and we're continuing on. But before we get into all that, I want you to comment below what it is you're collecting. Maybe it's a set, maybe it's just some particulars that you're after. But go ahead, pause the video, write down some comments. I'd love to hear them. And I'll see you on the other side of the intro. Thanks. Okay, and on to the packs. So if you're new here, just to catch you up real quick, I'm putting together a whole 4th edition set. I'm taking from booster box, from sealed product. I got more of them out here. 2 packs per video. There it is, number 1, number 2. And then I'm splashing in a random that I'm getting each week, each month, whatever, off a TCG Player, off of eBay, or if my local game store ever had them, I would probably pick up there too. But this guy, he's got like a neat sleeve on. But he's my outside of the box pool. These are from the box. We're gonna bust these open. But real quick on the recap, the starter deck that I did last time was amazing, right? Like when we think about what's been knocked out so far, I got the biggest 2, the Sylvan Library and the Mana Vault. So what we're looking for, as far as like, is this an amazing box and extras, are the land tax for the next rare, and then like the Zombie Lord, right? Zombie Master and Goblin King would be some great additions. Ankh, Winter Orb. So those are all some things that I'm looking forward to. And then on top of that, in the uncommons, I'm really looking for that Swords of Plowshare, the counter spell, and of course this Strip Mine, right? Right. So it's like good dollar value, favorite card from back in the day, but that counter spell, I'd like to see that. So here we go. We're opening up these packs. Let's see what happens here. Doing pretty good. This video, we will get past the 50% on the collected value, which is pretty awesome. That's another milestone that we're hitting. But we are done all the commons, so I'm literally just going through the commons to see like what are we getting in a pack. But I am looking for the spillover set, so I'm making 2. A Carnivorous Plant, Circle of Protection White, Drudge Skeletons, Fissure, Hurlern Minotaur, Land Leeches, Lost Soul, Morale, Prod Sorcerer, Samite Healer, Scrib Sprite, Spell Blast, and Weakness. So, for the spillover set, I hope we get some of those, but for the main set, not too concerned about what we're getting. All right, first one, Fear. Psychic Venom. Unsummon. Wall of Wood. Word of Binding. Gray Ogre. Gaseous Form. There's a Marsh Viper. And some Plague Rats. And of course, the Graveshot Catapult, which shows up in almost every single video. And Sea Serpent. So on top of that, I'm also creating a mock draft. So in this particular case, we're rounding out the latest one. I'm taking the starter deck from the last video and the 3 packs before and these 3 packs, put them all together and seeing what kind of a mega deck I can make from sealed product, just to kind of mimic that draft that I used to do back in the day because I enjoy it. All right, here are our own comments. We have Rod of Ruin. I believe I got the Fungosaur, so there's a nice addition there. Death Grip. Haven't got that one yet, I don't think. And Divine Transformation, another one that I used to use a lot. Okay, here we go. For rare number 1, we're looking at Blue Mana Battery. Kind of a boo on the hits, but they are all needed. So there we go. That's number 1. Pack number 2 from the box. Okay, 1, 2, and 3. There's your rare on the bottom. Commons. Frozen Shade. Seeker. I believe I haven't got a white pile yet, do I? I'll have to move things over. Either way. Prodigal Sorcerer. There's another one on the list. Flood. Lightning Bolt. Forever Classic. Lost Soul. Again, another one on the list. Benalish Hero. some Giant Strength. I believe we were looking at green-white for that deck. I'll have to refresh myself, because I think there was also another color, it might have been blue, that was sitting with a bunch of cards that potentially could make a good pair. But anyways, I digress. Jump and Naf's Asp. Okay. Fissure, that was on the list. There we go, knocking them down. Okay, here's the uncommons. Look at that, got the natural print dot on that guy. All right, Wanderlust, fun. Number 2, Spirit Shackle. That was an uncommon. Interesting. And Felwar Stone, again, another nice classic. Use that as a mana rock in various commander decks. Okay, it's rare number 2. Hopefully it's something new and not a duplicate. And we get Armageddon. I believe that's a duplicate from the very first video. Okay, well, it's going to happen. Okay, so we're, in the middle of my first box, but I figure we got, approximately 90 more rares. So at minimum, 90 more packs. And every time I open a duplicate, clearly we're adding another pack to the pool. So it's probably going to be 4 boxes, I bet, by the time I get them all. But here we go. All right, so from outside of the box pool, the first thing I usually look at here is, are we looking for sides, dents? Everything looks good. This looks like a decent pack. This particular one has a rough cut, but yeah, they look good. They're not curved. They're, pretty decent condition. Okay, so from the commons, we're getting into Morale. Was Morale on that list? Yes, it was. Giant Spider. Shatter. Power Sink. Nope, already had that one. Sandstorm. Amulet of Krug. The Wall of Spears. Another Fear. Tundra Wolves. Sisters of the Flame. And lastly, Energy Tap. Okay, so the last 3 comments for this week's edition. Lure, very good. I believe that one is needed. Orcish Artillery, I believe that one is needed. Very nice. And Air Elemental, there it is. Nice 3 additions right there. Okay, so for the last rare, it does look like it's got a rough cut on the top. But from outside the box pool, may it be something awesome I've already got, or just something cool that I need. And it is Savannah Lions. Not bad. I used to love them. For today's standards, a 1-drop, 2-1's not all that amazing, but back then that was pretty fun to have. Okay, there it is. This week's editions. Now I'm going to go ahead and double sleeve these guys up and throw them in the binder, and then I'll perform a recap for you guys all to see where we stand on the completion of the whole set. Be right back. Okay, let's check and see how we did in the recap. Well, thanks for joining me in the card recap. This week we're going to do something a little bit different. Since we've now reached the halfway point in the box, I want to do a little recap on everything we've seen so far. So what you're seeing on the screen now is the original first starter deck, plus all the packs that I've opened halfway through the booster, including the wild cards from outside the box pool. And so I wanted to give just like a quick overview look at this. I think when I dig into my 1995 memories of 4th edition and the cards that I played, there's a clear winner here of which week's packs were the best, at least to me. Now, the first one, the starter deck, Armageddon and Will-O-The-Wisp and Web were all cards that I played. So there's definitely a strong nostalgia there. But I'm going to have to go with week 4. Shivan Dragon and Nightmare were just staples in red and black, and they were so brutal at the time. They're very meh compared to what we have today. But Winds of Change, kind of popular, never played with it. Cosmic Horror, Elder Landworm, Island Fish Disconius, I mean, these guys were great big monsters of creatures, but you couldn't get them in play and consistently do well with them. Force of Nature, I did, but that, you're talking a 6 casting cost, 6 drop, and these other guys are like 6, 7, 8, so they're a little bit on a different tier. But Fungosaur definitely, Stasis definitely, Reverse Damage definitely, Millstone definitely played with those. Mana Vault, I did include a lot, but I don't think I really fell in love with Mana Vault till several years later. But anyways, this is the recap. This is what we've seen so far. I felt like I was going to do this with a little bit more pizzazz, but here you go. You get the hobby version with PowerPoint. So like it or leave it, this is what it is. So taking a look at the top 10, nothing has changed here. Not yet, anyway. Savannah Lions, while probably a $5 card back in the day, it's not worth too much today. And Blue Mana Battery is definitely not worth too much today. So this remains largely unchanged, except for the price of Mana Vault. So unless you've been living under a rock the last 3 days by the time this is posted to YouTube, Mana Vault last video was a $50 card, give or take a few, and is now sitting at $80. Why is that? Well, WotC announced on Monday an update to the banned and restricted list for Commander, which included Jeweled Lotus and Mana Crypt, both heavy-hitting mana rocks, highly popular, pretty expensive cards. So while those values for those particular cards are crashing rather hard, the community for Commander is rapidly looking for alternatives. So I suspect here what we're seeing is that Mana Vault will kind of fit that niche, right? I could see Grim Monolith getting some activity as well, but neither one of those are a 0 drop, so they don't quite have the potency, but they're still pretty powerful cards in their own way, right? So Mana Vault going from $50 to $80, I don't think it's going to stay there. I think it's going to keep going. So if you're a collector who's been wanting to pick up a Mana Vault, now might be your time. Regarding the mock draft, if you recall, this time I took the starter deck, the 3 booster packs I opened before that video and hitting the milestone, and now 3 booster packs afterwards, trying to simulate a starter deck and 6 booster packs sealed kind of draft tournament that I remember doing at our LGS back in the day. And originally I was going to go white and green. And as I stared at white and green, I just was not impressed. Nice cards individually, but when it came to building this deck, I had a hard time with there being almost no removal, right? So green doesn't really have any removal. I have a Winter Blast to tap and get through. I have a Fog to kind of, take it all, and Fog acts as a one-time save. But other than the giant growth, there's really nothing here other than just my creatures being bigger than their creatures that is going to remove anything out. And I don't really have super big bombs in any of the colors that were opened, except maybe the Nev's Disc. So if I kind of play lame and let them build up a board presence only to take it out, that might work. But that's kind of a last case scenario right there. So when I looked at it, black and red actually had a fair number of removal. And I just couldn't ignore 2 lightning bolts, right? Out of all of that, 2 lightning bolts, a Disintegrate, and a Fissure. I mean, you could throw the Detonate in there as well if you get to nuke an artifact. I did have, again, no serious bombs, but I had an abundance of 2/2s and 3/3 creatures. So I just kind of landed on red and green. Now, my thought here, the strategy would be ramp, right? Try to get ahead. I've got the Sisters for red mana. I've got the Untamed Wilds to get ahead. I've got Fellwar Stone, all of which could get my curve out a little bit ahead of my opponent. My other thought here, which I really wanted to do, was pair the Sylvan Library with some life gain, but there's not a whole lot of that outside of the white's reverse damage. So I am kind of looking at trying to get card advantage, trying to get lands out, and then just to be aggressive, remove the creatures in my way, and just go to town. But my worst case scenario, again, Nev's Disc. I do have a big 4/4 Regenerator, I guess is kind of a bomb for 4th edition. And the Rod of Runes, maybe I could pick off a few things if I can't totally take care of it with a lightning bolt. But anyways, the rest of the cards are down below for the sideboard, and then underneath considering are the remainders opened up in these 7 packs. So let me know in the comments below. Do you think I should have gone white-green, or maybe white-black, or maybe white-red? I don't know. It was actually more difficult given more card pool because I thought there would be a clear winner, but I'd love to hear your thoughts. And shifting gears over to the collection. Last week, we started at 244 cards collected, and this week we added 11 for a grand total of 255. That was 2 rares, and every single one of the uncommons was added, so that was pretty nice. We had 65% starting out. We added 2% for a total of 67% completed. Now with the value, we started at $178.99. We added $5.15, not huge amounts, but we end up now with $184.14. We started at 49%. We added 2%, so we broke the milestone of 50% completed. So I do believe that I said I would open some alliances. So I got to check to make sure I have 3. If not, I'll order them. But that will be the next bonus video, I guess. Bonus content, opening up some alliances. So maybe we get something sexy there, like a Lake of the Dead or Force of Will. That'd be pretty nice. Looking at the cards by type, basic lands and commons are completely knocked out, so we're good there. Uncommons, we started the week at 64%, and we added all 9, which in this case is 8% of the total, for 72% of all the commons collected. We're getting close. Once we get to about 15 left, then I'll make a list and we'll start tracking that at the beginning of each video. Looking at our rares, we started the week with 25%. We're adding 1 for a total of 26%. And overall, 65% add to 67 matches up top there. Regarding the booster packs, we've now opened 30 booster packs, and we are adding 11 more. So our yield is now at 42.9%. And looking at the expenditure, we are now at 30 packs here as well. And the 2 packs at $45.62 from the box, and we're adding our 1 rando, which I picked up for $32.38. Adds a grand total of $124.62. And let's check on today's 4th edition booster pack TCG Player. You can get into it for $40.16, and that includes the shipping. So we've come down a little bit. I do wonder if maybe in 3 videos, 4 videos, we'll see this kind of go back up, just maybe out of the popularity of Mana Vault. If that really sticks, and Mana Vault becomes pretty popular again for the brief period of time, then I suspect that these packs will go up a little bit. Just, a little bit. We'll see. I don't know that they'll go crazy, but I could see them hitting $50 again. I could see them hitting $60. We'll have to see. So adding that in, we're looking at approximately $40 in today's dollars. So I'm sitting at a $1,700 spend, but we're only looking at about a $1,500 if you were to buy all these packs and starters just today. And moving on to the spillover set, we started the week with 146 cards. We added 5 for a total of 151. That's 39%. We've added 1% for a grand total of 40% collected. And this week we started with $40.07 and we added $9.31. Actually, we added more value to the spillover set than we did to the primary for a total of $49.38. Thank you to that Armageddon. That is 11%. We're adding 3 for a total of 14% in collective value. And looking at the breakdown by type, of course, the basic lands were knocked out. We're at 100% there. But the commons, we added, I believe it was 4. We started at 89%. We added 4%, and we're now at 93%. The uncommons were unchanged this week. We didn't add any. They all went to the primary set. And the rares, we started at 2%. We added 1, and now we're up to 3% total. So that is 39 plus 1 is 40, and that matches up top there. Looking at our most frequent, our lands remain unchanged. The commons, we now have 6, and everything is a 5 on the list. So we did have some bump up. The uncommons remain largely unchanged because everything that was opened was something that we needed. So we didn't even get a single duplicate. So none of that changed there. And then, of course, the rares, we did see another bump up to 2. We have Armageddon, Fungasaur, Power Surge, and Ragman as our most frequent so far. And everything else below that is just the rares in alphabetical order. So looking at the overall, we've opened up 32 total sealed products with 570 cards. So you can, again, this is just for fun. This is not horribly accurate, but maybe if you're looking to get into some 4th edition packs, you can use this as kind of a guide. And with that, that's your card recap for this video. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did, and I'll see you in the next one.